Good afternoon, traders. Thanks for taking the time to check out this week's live webinar. Right off the bat, let's do a quick test of audio and visual. If you can hear my voice and see this opening slide, go ahead and type a Y in the questions box there. Appreciate you guys coming out. Greg, Renee, Anthony, Mike, thank you so much. Awesome. Well, be sure to use that chat box to ask any questions throughout the webinar. And as always, we'll make sure to get them answered by the end of the presentation. There will be a Q&A at the end. So if you don't get your question answered during the webinar, make sure to stick around for that. So a quick introduction. My name is Keith, here with Shark Indicators. We've been involved in the NinjaTrader ecosystem since 2011, providing tools that help traders be more productive and in control of their own trade systems. We're always looking for ways to add value for a wide variety of traders, and this webinar is part of that mission. So before I pass it off, let's take a quick look at the risk disclosure. Take a minute, I'm sure you've seen this a million times, but make sure to look it over. As you know, futures, foreign currency, and options trading contains substantial risk and is not for every investor, so be safe out there. Now, many of you should already be familiar with Julie Wade and J Auto Trading Strategies. So for those of you who are not, I'll have Julie introduce herself here shortly and get right into the webinar. So Julie, I'm going to promote you to presenter so we can get started. Let me get you set up here. Appreciate you guys coming. All right, Julie, you have control, but your microphone is muted.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Keith. I appreciate it. And thank you again for inviting me to come out today to give a presentation, and especially this presentation on trading linear regression slope, something that I have just really been getting a lot of use out of over the past 6 months as I've been developing this indicator and focusing on that slope, and then trying to concentrate my trading when the condition exists for those range expansion opportunities that I'm really interested in on an intraday basis. So again, thank you for coming out today to see the presentation, and we'll get started. It's pretty much going to be a hands-on session today. I don't have PowerPoint slides. Just want to chat just a minute about my process. I do have a two-prong approach to trading. First, as many of you know, I follow economic data and or news events. I learned about the economic indicators back in the day when it used to matter. You know, that was not so much over the last 8 years or so when the QE was in place, but it's coming back. And especially now that the Fed has said that it will be, again, data dependent. So understanding the economic indicators that makes a market move, long or short, is extremely important and vital to your trading overall success. So right now we had our minutes released from the Fed's meeting, and they have indicated that they are pulling back on that QT, and not quite a few of them were even saying that they're not quite sure that they're going to even raise rates for the remainder of the year. So the sands are shifting. They're going back to the data dependency, and that signaled a lower dollar. So we're going to start watching for the commodity space to take off, right? So we're going to be looking at energy, metals, agriculture, something to watch for that range expansion opportunities on the commodities. And then watch the to see if the indexes go flat and sort of like in a protracted range. But having the linear regression slope will dictate how we trade, together with the second component of my process, which is the technical component. And thankfully, I had Bloodhound to really help me put this together. And I use higher time frame trend, linear regression, and momentum. And I was able to put these Bloodhound solvers on the NinjaTrader Market Analyzer. And I completed this system that really signals us when the market is moving directionally, and when it's not moving, there will be zeros instead of a color red or green, helping us to sit on our hands and not really chase a trade further out. and especially when you're at a support resistance area, to take it off the table like this morning, coming in on the indicator, we'll take a look at the chart. You could very well see that we were out of room, and sure enough, it went right back where it was, inside that value area. So combining the economic indicators with the technical process and using Bloodhound, it was definitely the right approach for me. And I hope you will consider Bloodhound and adding that to your trading also. So Keith has already gone over the risk disclaimer. It's just important for me to go ahead and point this out that, you know, there's a huge degree of risk in trading. So only use your risk capital and recognize the charts that we're looking at right now. The market's closed. So any past data that we look at on our charts does not mean that that's going to be the same thing that's going to happen tomorrow. The markets are ever changing and moving, and you just have to apply your risk component to your trading. Here is the market analyzer, and the markets are closed, so we're not going to see the um, the movement of the solvers, but my solvers will move from red to green as the market changes. And this has just been really so helpful for my trading. Let me try to get my drawing tools menu here, and I can highlight these rows. This row here in particular, this um, Saint Mom 3 will tell me when to go in and hit a market that's moving, and it will be red or green. Makes it very, very easy. This higher time frame trend is encapsulated in another algorithm here that tells me whether the market's moving bearish or bullish. And if there's a zero in it, it just means there's no higher time frame condition. And these solvers are available in my complete package. Um, this indicator, the linear regression indicator, um, has the plots exposed that you can code yourself in Bloodhound, and we'll be showing you how super simple that is and show you how to put together a couple of quick solvers using it with these plots to come up with a couple of strategies yourself using the indicator. And a couple of things to note from it, this bottom line, the green red, that is a trend filter. So that's just simply a trend filter that's standard with NinjaTrader. The top lines are the JATS LRT lines indicator. And we'll go inside and show you that you can create more lines or levels um, for the lower time frame charts so that you can get into the weeds and get more support resistance levels to trade to. But on these higher time frame charts, I just like the first offset multiplier to show, and the reason for that is because you can see that historically price will be making its outside excursion, and then when it comes back and reverses underneath the main linear regression line, it's going to run to that trend filter. And this works on all time frames: daily, weekly, 60, 15. So this is like having the whole football field roadmap on your chart. And we rolled over, and now we are coming back up. We've crossed back up. So we're no longer short on the daily for the NQ, but something very interesting is occurring here. And that is, it is flat, 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 flat. So this level here is the 4. This is the 1, LR1, LR4, 4 is the fast line. So when the fast line crosses the slow line, the 1, that's the direction you want to be going. So we're looking for longs, but it's going to be rolling over, coming back and hitting this. Usually what will happen in an uptrend, and you'll see this on the lower time frames, that will start curling up. So it comes back into that level and then bounces back up, but we're not curling up, we are flat. So when it pulls back down, it may or may not bounce there. I'm expecting some, you know, kind of just flat bouncing action, and but until it pops back above that 4, I'm not looking long until I get a body close above that. I'm thinking this is coming back in definitely to the trend filter, but more likely to the middle of that range again and just start, ranging or something. Not quite sure what to make of all of this market activity with the indexes right now with this new Fed activity. Here is a 60-minute chart, and you can see the same type of market activity. This here, the when the linear regression changes slope, so you can see we were in an upslope, and then it went and changed color to a red cloud versus a white. That's keying you in that it's going to be changing slope, um, even though we were still going up. And where it goes to the trend filter. So it's like having a roadmap of where it's going to go to. But the problem with counter trend trading instead of directional trading is you can get wiped out really quick because it could bounce around in here. Um, as you can see here, instead of getting down to the trend filter and so ever so close, it decides to go back up, take those stops, and then go back down. Very, very tricky. So you just have to be very careful anytime you're counter trend trading. Much better when you're outside the 4-1 and you're looking for these sweet spot trades, the sweet spot. Um, you can really put the pedal to the metal and take um, a trade and hold it much better in that type of condition. So let's take this down to a smaller time frame. Here is a 15-minute chart on the RTH session. And this is really the chart that I look at day trading. As you can see that it absolutely adheres to my first offset level multiplier and gives me a great roadmap. I can tell immediately whether I'm counter trend trading or trend trading. If I'm outside my range where I want to be on a day trade, this is what I look for. That's my go-to, go-to-town trade. Makes it very, very easy to find it, to see it. And sorry. And when it's flat, you can also tell to sit on your hands, like we had over the last couple of days. See how flat that was? Because that just really messes with your account until it starts sloping again. And right now, we just completed that counter trend trade um, and don't really have a direction yet to go on a trade plan. So I'm thinking this is going to roll over and start coming back down. The market board was all red today. Everything, the bonds, everything. So I think it was just a one-off from the Fed minutes as the market starts adjusting, looking for its price discovery. But this is pretty much it. Open, high, low, close, linear regression, and a trend filter. And with my Bloodhound solvers on the market analyzer, I feel like I know what to do in the market. So here is the Bloodhound template on a 3-minute chart, and this is what we go by, that 15-minute, 3-minute in the trade room. I have my own Bloodhound templates that I prepare as pre, packaged black box templates that help guide further for the trade session. And I just am working on this black box algo one right now. It's new. It's not finished. It's a work in progress. But basically what this does is it will identify an outside trend condition and allow you to zero in on that section on an intraday basis and just trade that condition when it presents itself. And I have several methods of doing that, and with tick charts and or just on your minute chart. And so let's take a look at a tick chart with the indicator and get you a little bit more familiarity with it, and get inside the indicator so that you can see it, see the properties. Um, Basically, you've got 4 linear regression levels. I run 2 and 3 inside some algos, but I don't display them on the chart. I use 1 and 4, and I show the slow channels. I don't really show the fast channel on the tick chart, and most of the time I don't use the fill either on a tick chart. I just want to see the slope and that LR1. What is important for you to understand is the offset multiplier levels. You can control that to be whatever it is you want. Like this morning, it went down to the 9s on that push this morning on the outer bounds. Let me put this on a 3-minute so you can see it. See right there? And we were in the trade room and we realized that that was the end of the road. So it took a little while to pop up, but that's exactly what it does. So this is your lather, rinse, repeat process. You get to the end of the line and you're out of room. I mean, usually that's it. Most of the time, it never even gets down to that 9. Most of the time, you can use like a 7-2 as an outside boundary on a normal day-to-day, but you can see how it got over its skis right there. But the setup out of the box is 3579. And I pretty much stay with those. Once in a while, I'll change it to a 2468 or something, but you can also put zeros in here, and that's a way just to see the top area and see when it's trading outside of it for your excursions away from the value area. And this is the section that you may want to trade. And on my logic template here, I can do that by just trading that upper long or short. And be very specific with the area that I am interested in trading and just hit that one area when it sets up. Otherwise, put the levels back on for a tick chart. I'll move this back over to a tick chart. Put this back on a Unirinco. And we'll go inside today's move, and you can see that slope. So you absolutely want to keep hitting these levels when each time it makes a retracement, you want to get back in the direction that it's moving, and this will be the hands-on Bloodhound part. We'll put together a quick slope solver and show you how simple it is to achieve our goal of doing that. I've already made up some solvers. So the first thing you can do is put together a solver with your bar close in A. This is a comparison solver. And use the JATS LRT lines indicator, which you would come down here and select. And you can choose the upper one and the lower one, or the 5, upper 5 and lower 5. So the lower 5 you want to go long, and the upper 5 we want to go short. And that would give you the slope inside everything between those two levels. Here, I've already got a slope solver fixed up for us. And then come back in and put slope inside that range. The first 1.5, the first offset multiplier 1. So you basically do the same thing. You put a slope solver on it, which is over here. Your solvers, you just drop down a slope solver, indicator slope. Put the JATS LRT level on it and tell it to give you that slope of the upper one and the lower one. That's your first offset multiplier. And or the LR1 slope. Put your trend filter on it, your momentum, and what other filter you would want. And you've got yourself the ability to take these trades. Now, filtering in a strong downslope on a tick chart, you probably don't want to do that. So if you take those requirements out, oops, you want that requirement, this one. If you just want the 1.5 slope with your trend filter, you can see that you're just going to get your slope and trade the slope directionally. And then you can adjust your bar after that with your other components of Bloodhound to capture the other moves, and that slope must have been moving up, and that's why we got that. So here, there we go. And I just put an OR node in it to show the trend filter or the 1.5 slope. And that way you can capture the bars as they come back after a protracted move in the direction that you want to go. There are other ways to put Bloodhound together with other filters. The more you filter something, the more you're going to lose other components. So just trading slope by itself um, is a good way to do it if you're just trying to day trade, especially if you are in our trade room and you have the benefit of our market analyzer, and you can turn your trend trade platform on, the auto trader, um, turn it on and off to just jump in once the bar starts moving after a pullback back in the direction of that move. So each time after these pullbacks, you wait for the white bars, you wait for a white bar pullback, turn your auto trader back on when you're in a down slope, and just let yourself get captured, swept up like swimming in a pool, captured like swimming down a river raft in the direction of that move. And I see a bunch of questions popping up here. Um, yeah, somebody's asking to show the crude chart from today. I'll be glad to show you that. Give this a second to populate. You look at some more questions. And somebody's asking about this drawing toolbar. That is in your NinjaTrader app share. Um, and I'll go show you that in just a second. So this was a little difficult today. Where is the rest of my data? Is the market's closed, so I don't have the rest of the data for today. I can't get the data until the market opens, so I don't have all of the crude. But I can show you prior. And we're going to be looking at crude going forward, especially now that the energy complex should start taking off. We are in a counter trend trade on crude right now. And it looks like it's heading back to the trend filter coming up. So counter trend trade, I would not be going long until you get your condition set up. See some other, and the toolbar here that I've got, you can get at NinjaTrader App Share. So if you come to my website, you can come over here to the user app share and click on it, and that'll take you to the NinjaTrader App Share. And these are the free indicators that you can use, and something that you need to be, and here it is right here. Something you should be aware of once you put it on your chart, and I run it down the left side of my chart, you cannot take it off. It is permanent. So be sure you want it. It is like there forever. Even if you decide you don't want it anymore, you can't remove it. You're welcome. Okay. I keep getting people saying no audio. So I apologize if people are not hearing. Can everybody else hear everything? Can y'all, somebody send me a Y in the chat room? Yes, okay. I'm not sure why. Okay, okay, fine, perfect, perfect. One guy left. He said no audio, no audio. Okay, thank you very much. So basically, my trade process is as simple as that. I I analyze whether I'm going long or short, um, basically from the 15-minute bar for a day trade compared to where I am on my linear regression bar. If I'm inside the 1.5, if I'm in here, I want to sit on my hands. I don't really care that price is inside the first offset multiplier. Um, I'll just go find something else to do. I want the market to be out, up or down, and then I can go in and start hitting the market. And with the trend filter on it, I'm not afraid of counter trend trading anymore. I just have to leave myself extra room if I'm going to do it for a stop. You need a wider stop counter trend trading. So with that, advanced risk, you've got to be aware of that. So, but once I get a plan, a trade plan, I'm going to then go down to a smaller time frame and start looking for trades in that direction. And it makes it super, super easy. I've put together some templates to show me when those conditions are up or down. U or L means upper or lower. So that's basically all I'm interested in is upper or lower. And I prefer to do it in conjunction with my market analyzer. And this is very, very clear when you come into the open house. If you register for the open house, send me an email that you would like to attend the open house, and I'll add you to the list, and you can see these in action, or just buy a month in the trade room, and you'll get the indicator, and you can come in and code it yourself. But to go back to this indicator, I feel like I didn't do a very good job showing you how easy it is. This is just a slope solver. Um, of being able to come in and get in the direction of the move. Again, it's not rocket science. You want to make sure you have a nice slope. And then when you see that slope, then you can come in and start taking the trades in that direction on the toolbar change. Pretty simple. You can also use this indicator, say if you want to go long, but you want to go long on the second level down, you can set it just to take trade specifically at a level, and only take those. You can set that up pretty easily. You can do anything that you want with it. The I just take them all, and I'm looking for slope. I'm like a mosh pit. Once it starts moving, I might get, you know, a little bit of wiggle. Like right here, you got to move, and it looks like you got a little bit of stop run there, but it did end up coming back and taking off. And once you get used to what you're looking for and trading this methodology, the key for me is not to get greedy. Um, be like, have a goal for what you're looking for, and then try to achieve that goal on a daily basis. And instead of taking more trades over and over and over, add a little bit more position size, add one more contract to it. Um, and instead of trading 4 or 5 times in a session, try to keep your trading down to 1 or 2 or 3 entries, and then add some more position size, which makes it much more cost effective. The commissions and data fees really do add up on each order, especially if you're trading over and over and over. So that's crude. Put it back. Gold really took off. Let's show you gold. The other day, and not today. Today was a counter trend trade for that. All the algos were down today, but you can see that there was a great expansion, range expansion, that first impulse that people have been looking for and waiting for. Actually, it looks like it's been kind of moving up. Already without me, but it makes it so easy to spot these trades, and there's $32 to spot when you want to be able to approach the market and then dial down to your lower time frame, whether it's a 3-minute, 1 minute, and take the trade. So we'll be taking a look more at the agricultural. I'll go ahead and put the beans back on my market analyzer, but I'm thinking gold, crude, and NQ will be the 3 markets that I'm really going to focus on, but I probably will have beans on there just in case. Maybe nat gas. I'm not sure, but definitely looking for the commodities now, going in into the summer months. Are there any more questions that you guys have? I do have a special going on right now. 15% off of Bloodhound if you haven't purchased Bloodhound yet, with the JATS LRT lines indicator and the open house tomorrow. So make sure that you take advantage of that discount off of a license for Bloodhound if you were thinking about it, or Blackbird. And also send an email to support@jautotradingstrategies.com for our open house tomorrow, and we'll take a look more at these markets and the indicator. And I will go ahead and show you a couple of my other template packages that I have. I have a template for trading the NQ that we use. Quite a lot in the trade room. And this allows me to take a range and wait for those pullbacks as they approach the level, and once it crosses the level and then crosses back in the direction of the trade, it will lock me in. So this is the HighLow 2. I have a HighLow One template. Well, let me show you the direction guide first. Just start from the beginning. This was the first template that I started with, and it's basically very premised on that prior day open, high, low, close. If you're trading above the prior day close, you want to be going long. If it is below that close, you want to be going short. And it is based off of a RTH session. So you can actually put this back on use indicator settings and see when these signals trade from this algo. It's the direction guide template. I have a MACT market analyzer chart template that is also very helpful. This is the St. Mom template that we use in the trade room on a 3-minute chart. And you definitely want to be trading in the direction of that momentum and trend. And so this is a good chart to have as a secondary chart. You can either trade the chart by itself or just have it up to give you an indication of what the market is, likely to be doing on the momentum and super trend. And I have a HighLow One template. Oh, the LRT first. I do have a template together for the LRT lines indicator with some solvers preloaded, as well as that BBA that I'm working on for the black box algo. These are all part of the complete package. It's not really necessary to get all of the complete package. You can get the indicator by itself without needing to put all of the templates behind it. You can build your own templates if you like doing that with your own Bloodhound. But here are some methods of how I use the LRT lines indicator with some other prepackaged indications of when the market might be moving, the best time to enter in that direction for a successful directional trade. There's 41 points up or down. So basically, my goal for trading is directionally focused, and just to go inside that direction and be able to capture some profits and then get out, not just sit there and hit the trades over and over and over. So I'm basically waiting like a spider for this condition to occur and then take it down to that lower time frame and execute your trade. And that makes it so much easier. So if the condition exists, then go in and take the trade. And then the last template I can show you is another tick chart template. The HighLow One. And basically it's set up to do several things. Super trend, high-low is a good one to use, long or short. So if you're looking for longs, it's also a good one to enter in, and or the reversals long. So if you have that trade concept, that direction that you want to be trading, then go inside at that time and take the trades in that direction with your reversals long and Blackbird. And that should sweep you into the move. So whether you use, the HighLow One or, the JATS LRT line slope to get it done, um, the goal is just to get in there when the market is moving directionally and set yourself up with that bar to sweep yourself inside of a trade. So I think I've said that 14 different ways, but so this is a great little indicator to do that. And if you miss a reversal, you can put it on the high-low long and just, jump in. It'll get you in on any um, bar close in that direction. So are there any other, let me see, you missed my email. Okay, let me, thank you, put that back up for you and show you the website for the special offer. I'll put that into the chat box. And there is the email for you. So I'm very excited about this JATS LRT lines indicator. It helps tremendously, um, giving me the context that I really never had before. Um, there's so much about the indicator that we can go over. When these bar closes are closing above all the levels, so you've got your bar closes on top, that is showing strength. If it's inside the white cloud, that is showing consolidation, but still, long until it rolls over and changes direction, which is a great time to get in a market. They usually don't vertically fall to the trend filter, but sometimes they do. Usually it'll give you a pullback um, for pattern recognition. It will take off after that bar change And you see how it pulled back to this trend filter right here, and then it took off. This is like a super duper sweetheart trade right there. So broke down, then you got your pullback. So right there, big sweetheart setup, and then this is your target. So it's you're either going directionally or you're waiting for that counter trend move, and then waiting for your bounce to see if you continue or if it's going to be a change in direction and you're going to go the other side. But it really does, it has helped me tremendously with my trading, and especially just having the ability to see it flat and sit on my hands or go find a different market. I mean, that to me is worth the price of the admission, is just being able to see that flat, flat, flat is no thank you. Go find a different market to trade. The open house is tomorrow. Yep. So someone is asking me if I would walk them through my process. I thought that I had been pretty much doing that. Do you see these zeros on the board right here? This tells you that there's nothing happening in the market and you want to sit on your hands. So I have coded the market analyzer with Bloodhound templates. Um, that is part of the complete package, but you get access to see this in the trade room, even if you don't subscribe to the complete package. If you just get the indicator by itself and code your own with the plots that are available, you still have access to the trade room so you can see the board. And it's very, very helpful because during the day when the market is moving, the whole row will turn the same direction. Makes it very, very easy to know whether to stay with a trade. Um, and then having the JATS LRT lines indicator on that smaller time frame gives me the trade location that I'm interested in, and I know that I'm out of room. I'll be looking at a higher time frame chart like we did. I had a 60-minute chart up and I knew that there was, support resistance. I had 2 or 3 lines on it here this morning and it hit all 3. But this confirmed it. We were just out of room. It gets to the end of our trading field and it doesn't have anywhere to go. So it's going to come back into the middle. And that's what it does. This one went all the way back up. And so we're just getting that protracted ranging, which I think we're going to be getting a lot of in the equity indexes, just ranging up and down. It just really doesn't have anywhere to go. It's just going to start ranging around. So that might make great, price action. I'm not saying it's not good to trade, but um, ideally, what you want to see is what we got this morning in the trade room, and that was that great slope. And got the signals from the indicators leading me down, and we were able to put the auto trader on and capture profits going down this morning out of that section. So makes it makes it pretty easy when it's all working like that. The hard part of trading is when it's flat, and because you get the ups and downs, you don't know whether it's going to go to the top or come down. Like this yesterday, it just walked all over itself. Let me put this on a RTH session template here real quick. You can get some good price action on these lines. Um, during a range, but it's not as I mean, it's much harder to trade than when you have slope. When you have slope, it's much easier than just, it's like a crapshoot if there's no slope. When you see the flatness of those lines, just find a different market to trade, because there's no edge. Here's the only edge that you've got, bouncing off of these upper and lower outer bound areas. So, when the market is flat, that's about the only trade that you would want to take. Otherwise, keep it on your slope and wait for that to match. And again, that is just super simple to come in here and put together a solver with this indicator. All right, well, I guess we are at the end of the session today. I do appreciate again your time, and I mean, when you're dealing with a small tick bar in a market like the NQ, it can be quite perilous. So best to stay with a higher time frame trend direction, waiting for those specific conditions to be there, and then having an understanding of what it is you want to trade. Just trade that section, and when you get there to the end of your profits, or get as much profit as you want out of that section, then just sit on your hands. That's why we really just focus for a couple of hours in the morning. So the open house will be from 8 to 10. I will send me that email. I'll get you on the list, and we will send out a link to you shortly before the open house starts. And we'll take a look at crude, gold, and NQ. All right, so I do appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for coming out, and I'll give it back to Keith.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate you guys coming in and asking your questions. Hope you're able to get something out of this. Make sure to to reach out to Julie, support at jautotradingstrategies.com to join her more in-depth fuller session tomorrow to get like a really much better feel for this. If you're brand new to Bloodhound, I know a lot of you are at least familiar with shark indicators in Bloodhound, but if you're brand new to it and want to know more about how all that works, those lines that she's got on the chart, and want to play with it yourself before purchasing, we do offer a trial, so you can join. You can learn more at sharkindicators.com to download the Bloodhound trial, so that you can be a little more knowledgeable as you go forward with Julie or us. So appreciate it, guys. Have a good night, and if we don't hear from you, have a good weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.